What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Duel, back here with a Diablo 4 video, and today we're going to be talking about the best builds that are coming to Season 9. Now, keep in mind, the season starts tomorrow, but it hasn't dropped yet, so a lot of these are preemptive until the game actually relaunches their season, and then this tier list will get updated as, the season actually progresses, bugs are found, items are tested, things of that nature. That's generally just kind of how it goes, so let's further ado, let's just jump right into it. So I jumped in here, and this is generally, I go to maxrule.gg, I go to tier lists, and then I start with endgame and pit pushing and boss building tier lists. These are generally the two that you kind of want to align, and I'll show you what I mean by that here shortly. But let's just jump right into it, starting with S tier. So it looks like Balazon, Rake, Spiritborn, Balazon, Crush, Spiritborn, Quill, Spiritborn, and Thrash. Notice all of them are using Balazon. And if you notice here, if you go into this build, it all relies on this ancestral unique pants. The Balazon's Max Telatl. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but basically this is what it does. Each attack damages close enemies for 300% of your Thorns damage, and also deals 100% of this damage as poisoning over 3 seconds. So as you can see, these pants have actually generated quite a bit of different builds that you can play. In fact, I was actually eyeing the Sork, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. But look at this. You got 4 different options for this. Obviously, if you've done Quill Volley from Season 6, then you probably want to avoid that. But, personally, I think Thrash would be for me. But so you've got quite a bit. The shakeup of the meta here is quite different than previously. Hey! And, sorry, my dog is just spazzing out. You've got all different kinds of builds here in S tier. The meta is definitely shooken up in previous seasons, as we've seen. It's not the traditional builds that we've seen before, so thank God for that. But you still got some good stuff here. Like, well, I was actually I'm going to be paying attention to this because I probably won't get to play until Wednesday night. But Hydra Sork is really what's catching my attention. And this build, this is the build that I was really, really excited about. And I'm still really excited about it. I'm just curious how it's going to shake up. But it may not be as strong as the Balazon Spiritborn. So that's interesting. I mean, it's still here in A tier, so it's still pretty good, but it's not S tier. So if we go through here, there's still plenty of different builds that we've seen before, like Chain Lightning Sork is still A. It's not S, but it's A. You got Quill Volley here. You got Death Trap Rogue. Minion Necro is A, not S, which is kind of a surprise here. Touch of Death Spiritborn, so that's kind of cool. A lot of Spiritborns this season. This might be the redemption arc of the Spiritborn, if you will. Bone Necro, Companion Druid, Pulverized Druid is down here on the lower section of A tier, which is kind of surprising, but still, it's nice to see that Druids are getting some builds, I guess. I don't know what Flesh Render Druid is. That's interesting. So that's a new one here that they've added here. Evade Spiritborn is still pretty good, but it's not S tier. So as you can see, a lot of the S tier builds that are for endgame and pit pushing, that's not what we've seen last season. So thank God for that. I just kind of we don't know what's going to shake out, but currently, as I'm seeing this list, I was really hoping for a lot more different class shakeup being an S tier, but I guess we'll see what happens, right? The season's not out yet. So, with that being said, let's move over to bossing. This is where it gets a little bit more of a variance between the end game and the pit pushing. So we've got Bloodwave Necro. Look up here, number 1, Bloodwave Necro and Flesh Render Druid. Very interesting. So this is generally not, I mean, we've seen Bloodwave Necro multiple times the last few seasons. This is not a shock at all. But it's a shock that they've nerfed Overpower this patch, and they're still got Bloodwave at the tippy top in bossing, which is just crazy to me. And then, as you can see here, now you have the Thrash Spiritborn, which is what I personally am hopping between that and the Hydra Sork. So you got the Balazon Spiritborn once again, Quill Spiritborn, Balazon Rake, and then you got Chain Lightning back up here in S tier for bossing, Death Trap Rogue, Twisting Blade, Balazon, Crush, Spiritborn. And then you got the Hydra Sork up here, also up here in S tier. So this is where you have to make a decision on, what kind of build that you want to run with. Do you just want to do endgame stuff, or do you want to do bossing and endgame stuff, or you just want to do bossing? And this is kind of how I make my decision when I pick some of these builds. So, looks like, Balazon Thrash Spiritborn is going to be the one that, if you look between the two here, look at that. Thrash S tier endgame and Thrash in bossing. So you kind of get to choose. Whereas, I was looking at Hydra Sork, where it was S tier here in bossing, but it was A tier in endgame. So that's just stuff to think about. So overall, these are the obviously top builds that you kind of want to look at. You know, you want to obviously decide between bossing and endgame, or if you want to do a mixture of both. So you really have to decide like what's an S tier, what's an A tier. Now A tier isn't necessarily bad. It's just not going to be meta juice to the max, right? Like if you really want to get that raw power, just really just kill everything that you possibly can in the game. S tier is really obviously what you're going to want to be looking for. So I'm very curious like how these builds are going to shake up. We won't know usually till the end of the week. They update everything as they go. Maxwell's really good about that, but very curious how this is going to pan out after Tuesday night. So anyway, I'll just recap it here. So it really looks like Bloodwave Necro for bossing. And we'll go back to the end game tier list here just to recap everything. Then you got Balazon, number 1 if you're going to play end game and pit pushing. Bloodwave Necro is still up there, and you got Shadow Blight Necro. And then you got the newest build for the Sork, which is the Hydra Sork. And then, of course, you have Minion Necro, and you've got a couple of rogue builds that we've seen here before that are not necessarily new to Diablo 4. So, very exciting stuff. Very curious. I don't know. I haven't decided what build I'm going to run yet. I'm really torn between Hydra and Balazon Thrash. Those are the two that excite me the most, so I'm very curious to see where this list will end up at the end of Tuesday night after the season is dropped and, you know, people have blasted and they've been able to test things and see if there's any bugs or thing like that. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments what build you're going to pick, if you're going to pick any of these builds, or if you're just going to go off the cuff. Either way, it's a great time. This is the best time, in my opinion, playing these games. Is just watching the theory crafting and the builds that come out. It's really exciting. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you made it this far. Feel free to like and subscribe. You're not obligated to, but it does help out the channel a lot. I'm going to be making more Diablo 4 videos as the season comes out. So definitely hit the like and subscribe if you want more of this content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!